Hey guys, Josh here and welcome back to Mass Effect Andromeda analysis series. This week we're not doing the next initiative video, we're actually doing the trailer which was just released on Thursday evening for the UK people, but sort of when, I don't know, but for different time zones, different people. But anyway, it was released the other day, and so I thought rather than do the next initiative video this Sunday, I might as well do this. And then next week we'll carry on with the initiative video. There's also another one being released as well, covering all the squad mates. So we'll be doing that in the future as well. So today we're starting with the Andromeda trailer, the newest one, which is the cinematic one. So let's get going then.
Is that our golden world?
That's Habitat 7.
So firstly, yep. Read a lot about Habitat 7. This was from a leaked thing. I think back in November this was leaked, basically. Habitat 7 is the sort of planet that the human arc is given as their one to go and sort of colonize. Basically, I think each arc's been told, go to these worlds. This is your world to go to. It's like the most one that's the most kind of likely to be safe and can support life and all that stuff we do now. This is entirely, you know, we can look at stars a very long way away, see the planets, and we can make predictions about, based on the distance they are away from the stars, that kind of thing. We can make predictions about what the planet is gonna roughly kind of be like, about whether it could support life or not. And this is one of the ones they picked out.
New Earth.
So they picked it out, and straight away you can see how it's got this weird shit coming down, which is incredibly weird, and growing over it. The place also looks very barren. Now, I saw comments saying if they're kind of chosen this as the planet they're going to go to, then why is it so barren and horrible? Well, firstly, based on what they're seeing, it's a very long way away. There's the light difference, you know, speed of light difference. So just generally what they're seeing is a long time ago. They can make predictions about what it might be like, and maybe they're just off with that. But I think mainly it's something to do with the Ket. Ket seems to be the villain, and you can see this shit on the screen, this stuff here. This is something to do with the Ket. I think Ket have maybe been kind of draining planets for their resources for some purpose, maybe. That seems to be it, maybe, something like that. Let's carry on. Also, you notice here we got an Asari here, which I think is Peewee, possibly, yeah.
If we're lucky.
Another crew member there, and there's the, yeah, all crews there.
20,000 souls adrift at sea. When the power runs out, stays out, we need to know if that's safe harbor.
That is, let's go back a little bit. That is the Nexus itself, which is like asleep. So it seems at the start of the game, the Nexus isn't going to be accessible, and you've got to kind of access it, which is quite cool.
Safe harbor.
Shuttle 2, taking your lead.
Good luck, Pathfinder team.
All stop now!
So this is the main character, I assume. And this is the male version, which is Scott Ryder. And this is the Ket, I'm assuming. This is their ship. Looks very, very ominous. Very cool looking.
Oh my god.
Get us out of here.
They've got us pinned against the scorch.
That is our Solarian pilot. His name is Callow Jaff. If that's how I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it. I think it sounds like Jaff or Jaff, something like that. Callow Jaff, I don't know. So yeah, it's our Solarian pilot. Pretty cool looking. But yeah, I don't think he's a squad mate, but I think he is very much a much more fleshed out character to talk to than Joker was. And I think maybe you can even romance him, which is kind of cool.
Pinned against the scorch.
The Scorch, they're calling it. A couple more squad mates there, I'll go over them in a minute. But this is, yeah, this guy is calling himself Archon. And he's the Ket, I believe. I think he's like the leader of the Ket, possibly. Something like that.
Please, you're not really.
Here we I'm just pausing it every fucking second. There's just so much to go over. So yeah, this is, what's her name? Vetra. Vetra is a female Turian. We've only seen these very briefly in Mass Effect before. I'm trying to think of any other times other than Omega. I'm trying to think. But in Omega, basically, you meet a female Turian who's like leader of Arya's forces, I think. I can't remember what she is exactly, but yeah, she's the only time you actually see a female Tyrion, I believe. I'm trying to think if there's any other times you do. I can't think of any. So yeah, so it's very cool that there's now a female Tyrion that's a bit more prominent, and that they're a squad member and probably a romance option, which is kind of cool. A female Tyrion romance option, which we hadn't had before, so that's kind of cool.
Going out there on your own.
PB, of course.
We're explorers.
You'll have a full list of them all in a minute. You see them all.
Sure, we've been outplayed. The Archon is a master of his game.
Looks very, very, very powerful. This kind of shit he can do.
We're about to change.
Right, so we have a big view of the actual squad itself. Not all of it. There's a big list of other squad members, but this is the sort of prominent ones they're focusing on. So in the middle here we have, of course, the main character. This is Alec Ryder. No, I keep calling him Alec Ryder. Sorry, this is Scott Ryder, or whatever Ryder you decide to call him or her. There's also Sarah Ryder, or whatever you decide to call her. This is basically Ryder, like with Shepard. Shepard was whatever you wanted to call it. I think the default Shepard was John. I think the default female Shepard was Sarah, possibly as well. Me being Josh, J for John. It was very easy for me to call my Shepard Josh Shepard for my very first playthrough of Mass Effect all those years ago. So yeah, I'm thinking going with a male Ryder. Probably. So yeah, he's younger than Shepard, definitely. He hasn't seen so much combat, so he's really edging to get out there, and you'll see that a lot more in a minute from some of the other characters. So there are other characters. If we go from left to right, this is PB, of course. This is the Asari we've heard a lot about, and we've seen. It was basically one of the very first characters we even saw. She is apparently she's kind of separate from the Ark. She kind of went out on her own along the galaxy, so she seems kind of hardened by the galaxy a little bit, knows a bit more about it. It's kind of cool, very different. She's very kind of different to what you expect from Asari. She's very kind of down to earth and fun, and that, not so kind of straight talking, serious that Asari can sometimes be. I'm assuming she's probably a romance option as well. So that'll be an interesting one. It might be one I possibly proceed, never know about. This is Liam. His last name is Costa, not the coffee. He is your kind of right hand man. It looks to be kind of, I think they're pushing him to be like a friend of Ryder, possibly. So yeah, not much more. He looks like generic kind of soldier, kind of, well, probably a bit more in depth as we get into it and see more about him. This is Cora Harper. Now this is an interesting one. Harper was actually the original last name of the Elusive Man. He was called Jack Harper before he became the Elusive Man. He actually had a family, and I think his name is hidden. Not many people know his name, so it's entirely possible this is the daughter or some relation of the Elusive Man. Which is kind of interesting. It might not be. They might just be. This just used the name, and that's not even been touched on. But they know how when they release these trailers, fans obsess like mad over details like that. So it's entirely possible that it is some kind of relation to the Elusive Man. Now, whether she knows that herself, whether she doesn't even know, she doesn't even care about the Elusive Man. This is, of course, set between 2 and 3 when they leave. They leave between 2 and 3. They go off, and this is a human arc, so maybe the Elusive Man might have had some influences through Cerberus with funding and stuff like that. He might have been able to get her in the team. Maybe she is kind of Cerberus, and maybe we'll get some links back that way. I don't know. I really don't know whether she's going to betray you or maybe not. I don't know. I really don't know. But I think there's definitely something else about that name. I don't think BioWare would put that in because they know how the fans obsess over details like that. So yeah, could be something more about her. And finally on the right here, we have what is one of the most interesting pieces of armour I've ever seen, is our Krogan called Drac. Now just look at that armour. It's got fucking bones on it and like sort of hide. It looks like really organic kind of armour. It looks really, really cool. It's something you've never seen from the Krogan before. Not sure what that's hinting at, whether, I don't know. It's really interesting. Very, very cool looking, and I just don't know what to make of it, really. I just can't say. Also, talking about that, a lot of people have been saying about the genophage can't be cured because it's cured in Mass Effect 3, possibly it's cured, depending on what you choose, after they've set off. So the Krogan that are in Andromeda are still going to have the genophage. So there might be a point about that, about sorting it out, because the Krogan can't be very widespread, obviously, unless they're going to go with a tank-bred Krogan, and that's how they work in Andromeda with technology. I don't know, but yeah, so that's like the initial squad we get shown to. Also notice this armor here is very, very reminiscent of the original sort of N7 armor you got in Mass Effect 1. You know, less bulky and armoured and more just kind of like a sort of skin. But I assume you get more bulky armor later on. Anyway, let's continue. A lot of talking.
The rules. These are human from another galaxy.
Right, now we have our first new race we've been shown other than the Ket. They look very much like the Twi'leks from Star Wars. These are the Ungara. The first alien race we've seen that's new. Don't know that much about them. They look kind of female looking, but apparently this is a he from what I've heard. And they may be romanceable. Someone actually asked someone from BioWare, they look cool, can I romance them? And the reply was, basically. They have said that your romance options are going to be just beyond your squad mates. You have your squad mates you can romance. You can also just go on dates with random other characters, I think. So maybe you can romance these guys, or women, whatever they are. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it's our first alien race. Look very cool. Let's carry on.
I don't need an army. I've got a Krogan.
That's one of the best lines in the whole trailer, and I'm looking forward to, if that is in the game, seeing it. We get another better look at our armor here. Just looks so cool, and look how big and menacing he is. Really cool. Was that another Krogan then, actually? Go back. Looks like another Krogan. Hang on. I can't tell. It's some alien race he's slamming to the ground. It could be a Turian. I'm not entirely sure. I think it might be a Turian. Or it might be one of those Angara. No, because I haven't got the things. I think it's a Turian. Or maybe it's another race. We haven't seen it yet. Interesting. She's a romance option, of course.
Why we came.
Cover's blown, run!
They want to fight? We'll give it to them.
They're breaking! Keep it up!
So there we have it. Looks like this stuff is a very key sort of threat. Was it called the Scorch? I think the pilot called it. It's something to do with the Ket. Maybe they absorb powers from planets and use them to. They look very weird and cool looking. It'd be interesting to see what they actually are doing. Like I said, I have my theories in other videos where with the Ket. And actually, I don't know if I've got to that yet. I don't know if I spoke about that. I spoke about it in later episodes of my analysis series, which I hadn't actually put up yet. But basically, they are about how the Ket are like an empire, kind of, that don't sort of enslave the galaxy. And it's your turn to try and take them out and replace them, like a revolution type thing, which is really cool.
Been waiting 600 years for this.
So yeah, like I said, they look like very kind of young, excited kids who just want to get out there. And they're going to be really changed and shaped by what happens. And I think it's going to be a great deal of character development in this. So anyway, that's my analysis of the second cinematic trailer. I'm assuming there'll probably be some sort of launch trailer as well. So I'll be doing that when it comes out. So anyway, guys, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.